Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Back at the same lake today I was at the other day. The other day I only had 3 or 4 hours to get it done. Today I got all day. So we're gonna dive into this lake just a little bit deeper. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and I will see y'all out here. Let's go catch a few. All right, I'm gonna show y'all a little bit about my electronic setup right here and see if maybe if we're lucky we might find a few fish in the process. I got 2 Lowrance HDS 12 lives right here, and you can do this with 1 unit, so keep in mind, I always like to make it a point to tell people you don't have to have exactly what I have. If you have 1 unit, just split your screen up. It's as simple as that. But I've got mapping on this side. This is the built-in C-map on board, and then I've got side scan right here, 800 kilohertz, 100 feet on either side when I'm scanning for brush piles, and I've got two different down scan palettes right here. I just like those 2 different colors. Some things will show up better on this brown palette, some things will show up better on this on the blue palette. Right now I'm liking the blue palette a little bit better, but different bottom compositions are a little bit different. So all I'm doing, we're just kind of out on a flat. You can see there's a ditch, it cuts into this flat right here, but all I'm doing is just out here scanning for brush piles, stumps, whatever I might see. You can see there's a stump right there. It's probably got a couple fish on it, but really what I'm looking for is man-made brush piles that are sunk out here on these flats, and there's quite a few of them in this lake. Some of them the state of Tennessee puts in, some of them individuals put in, but that's what I'm looking for. And when I find one that that has some fish in it, I'm going to show you guys kind of what I'm looking at. There's a good brush pile right there, guys. I'm gonna show you. Wanted to show you a little bit about that. So see, when something casts a big shadow like that, the taller the shadow, the bigger the object is. All right, so I can come back. You can see there's another one right there. There's a brush pile right there. There's a big stump right there. Now all these are fairly shallow, so they may be a little too shallow for what I'm wanting to do today, but eventually, sometime down the road, I'll catch fish off of those. If not crappie, I'll come back and catch bass off of them one of these days. So I like to mark all that stuff when I'm scanning. Just it doesn't cost anything to drop a waypoint. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna start out this morning. I just got a 6-foot medium light rod, 2500 size reel, 4-pound vicious panfish mono, high vis, obviously. On the business end, we got a size 5 split shot, about a foot up the line, 1.5 foot up the line, 32nd ounce. That's the crappie magnet double cross jig head. And then I have a black and chartreuse crappie magnet on there. This water's got just a little bit of color to it, so I'm gonna start out with that black and chartreuse. It's always a good color in a little bit off-colored water. Finally got a decent one. Maybe we found a few. It's a good keeper. This wind is whooping pretty good out here today. I hope y'all can hear me all right. I've been out here for a little while just looking at some new stuff. Found it to be pretty tough so far. There's a nice one. Oh yeah. Nice big old black nose there. He followed it up out of that pile. Thump. It's a pretty one. Probably a 12-incher there. That's more along the lines of what we're looking for. Just took us a little while to get started, that's all. That's on that same color as yesterday. There's one. Another nice crappie. That's what it was. We just had to find us a good hole. Golly, that there. He wanted it. I was coming into that school. I was watching it on active target, and that one shot up from the bottom, just thump. He ate it too. That's when you know. That's when you know you're doing the right thing, when they gobble it down like that. Got the right color, right rate of fall. Everything's right. All is right with the world. Let's catch another one. There's another one. Got them fired up in there now. I've talked about this before. Crappie are a lot like bass in the fact you catch one is pretty important to stay in that school. I know that's a keeper, but just so nobody doubts me, I'm gonna measure him. Y'all see that? 10 1/4. Not a great big one, but a good eating size fish. Get back in there. Well, there is 100 of them down there, literally. There we go. Another good one. Get up in here, boy. Just gotta weed through the yellow bass and all the other stuff in the water column. They're definitely in there. Well, that one knocked the fire out of it. That feels like a good crappie there, I'm gonna tell you. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Hey, for dead heat of the summer into August, that's a dang good fish right there. That's what we're talking about. Yes, sir. Look at all of them down there. Wow. Now, granted, some of that is not crappie. Some of that is yellow bass, bluegill. A lot of shad in here too, but obviously some of it is crappie. Another keeper. There he is. Little fella there. Okay. You can have one. What's up? I'm trying to, yeah. What are y'all doing?
Hey, as long as these jack wagons have quit pulling up on you while you're filming.
You ain't bothering me, buddy.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. How y'all?
Doing well, man. Glad to be back home.
Yeah, I am.
We're gonna stretch it out this way and see what we can.
Alright. See y'all. That's a couple of my buddies, a couple of guys that work at the Phoenix plant. Brian and Duke. Duke is actually, he runs the service crew for the BPT, the Phoenix service crew, and he actually rigs all of our pro staff boats. So a couple of great guys right there. Absolutely everybody from the people that work in the factory to the people that run the show, Gary, Teresa. I mean, honestly, one of the best things that ever happened to me in my career is just getting to be a small part of Phoenix Boats. And having them as a sponsor, but more than a sponsor, they've got my back. They've been a great company to work with, and they build the best bass boat on the market nowadays, bar none. Oh, here now, what do we have? Got a feeling we got us a bass to bite. Or maybe a catfish. I'd be curious to see. I feel like if it was a bass, it might would have came up by now. It might be a catfish. A lot of catfish in this lake. Just definitely not a crappie. Definitely not a white bass. I know that for a fact. I'll loosen off on this drag. We'll find out what it is in a minute. 4-pound line. It'll take a little time, but you can catch some really big fish on 4-pound line. The other day when I was out here, I saw some, what I figured was big flathead catfish. In these groups of fish, you'll see these big groups of fish, and it's just a food chain deal. Those big flatheads will get right in there with those big groups. That could be what we got here. I don't think, oh no, it's a big old smallmouth. Wow. Holy cow, that blows my mind, guys. That is unreal. I would have swore if that was a bass, he would have jumped a long time ago. Oh, that is crazy. I never would have dreamed that in a million years. Big smallmouth too. I mean, for this part of the world, that's a big one. Probably close to a 4-pounder, honestly. Oh, don't do it, boy. Come over here, let me get my hand on you. Got him. Check that out. Now, is that not crazy? On a little bitty 1/32 ounce crappie jig. Probably a 22-inch long smallmouth. Now, I just came from the St. Lawrence River, and they're not built this way on the St. Lawrence. They got little bitty mouths, and they're big and broad. But our smallmouth here in Tennessee, especially Middle Tennessee, they got big mouths. You see how big his mouth is, and they've got their body structure just different. They're real thin, skinny, more like a river type smallmouth. He should weigh, if he was fat, he'd weigh 4.5 pounds, but he's probably a little over 3 1/4, 3.5 maybe. But he's dang sure pretty, and he give me a battle on that little bitty crappie jig. Back in there, buddy. That's a pretty fish. That was fun. All right, guys, let's go wrap it up today. I had a fairly tough day, to be honest with you. I think I only caught about 10 keepers and probably 10 throwbacks or so. Got a little bit windy. The wind's blowing like 10 to 20 today. You know, a fisherman's always got an excuse, but bottom line is they just weren't biting today. I saw a lot of fish following the bait and stuff. I played around with a ton of different colors, different size baits, different size jig heads. Just couldn't figure it out, you know, and that's certainly part of crappie fishing, but it's also part of this time of the year crappie fishing. I think I've talked about it before. Their feed windows are a lot shorter this time of the year. They don't feed near as often, you know, and I just never did hit the right place at the right time today. But it's all good. Fun day on the water. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time right here, Brandon Lester Fishing.